welcome to the channel. My name is Abby and this is my vlog where I discuss all things fiber art and pop-up markets. I am here today with a video about what I made this week, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. The first item this week, I'm kind of cheating a little bit by saying it was this week because this has been what I've been doing at markets when it's slow, is this very cute market bag. I am catching how often I say in my videos, and I am working on that. I just caught myself. The bottom, because this started out as a hat, but then I realized it was comically large, so for a while I was like, is it a hat? Is it a bag? Is it a hat? Is it a bag? It became a bag. Couple rounds of half double crochet, and then I switched to granny stitch. This variegated yarn is Premier something. I threw away the band, I'm sorry. Oh, got it, and I need to weave in. I did it again. Premier something, sport weight, 3.5 hook, and then when I ran out, I just happened to have something that matched it really well. This is from Dollar Tree, and it's not even the Premier, just yarn. It's the Crafter's, I think it's called Crafter's Secret. So it is not the best quality, but you know what, crocheted up. Look, I like it. My other market bags sell for $25. I am tempted to put $30 on this just because it is granny stitch and not the chain 4 and hook with the more mesh look, but I don't know if I would get $30 for this. So I will start it out at $30 tomorrow, and if anybody looks at it, or I will see, I will see how people react when, when they see the price tag. But I am digging it. I love these short under the arm straps because of course it's going to stretch. It just barely fits under my arm right now, but as the bag stretches and gets bigger, it will be very comfortable to either carry like this or to carry under the arm. Very happy with that. Next, I don't know what I was thinking. I so not like me at all. But a couple months ago when Ollie's had the $5 Bernat yarn and everybody on Instagram was going crazy, I fell for the FOMO and I went, and there was hardly anything left by the time I finally decided, like, okay, I have seen so many Instagram reels of people excited about what's at Ollie's, and I think I've seen other YouTubers were talking about it a couple months ago. So I finally went, very little left, but so what I did get was this steering wheel looking Bernat yarn. It's called Ogos, I believe, and it came in 3 colors. And maybe because it was taking up too much space in my grip cubes. I think that was why I picked it up, because it did free up a lot of space. I got almost everything that was stashed away in my closet over my grid cubes that I'm not going to show you right now because it's still a mess. I tried crocheting with it, and this is when I bought it. I brought it home and I did maybe 4 stitches, and I know a lot of you guys use Bernat. I could stand it. And it just went into that grid cube and stayed there forever. And so early last week, I have no idea what I was thinking, but I will tell you this, at my last market, I ran into somebody who had been at a previous market and had bought a yip yip from me. And if you don't know what yip yips are, they're like yip 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 yip. They were on Sesame Street in the late 70s, early 80s. If you're my age, you remember them. You may look it up on YouTube if you don't. Yip yip. Somebody had bought one from me, and they said that they use it for dog treats, and they were so excited to run into me again and to be like, look, here's a picture of your yip yip where we keep the dog treats, and every night the dog just sits there waiting for it and we grab him a treat. And I only had one left, and it is too small, and it is just the wrong color. It's a pale peach. It looks like a shrimp. I don't know if it's, I might have to discount it. It just didn't turn out like I wanted it to. So maybe because the only Yip Yip that I had left was too small, I decided, let me just go comically big, and I did. So here it is, guys. Yep, no. Yep. So it's, back up. This is huge. It's ginormous. This could be a kid's laundry basket or pajama holder. I was okay with working with it after the first round. I was just like, this is awful, I hate it. And I know that these concentric circles are supposed to lay flat, and they just don't. I think my tension is too tight. I used the middle prim hook on the plastic, the set of prim hooks. I used the middle one. I don't know what, maybe that's an 8. This was not lying flat, but I was thinking, oh, it doesn't matter because it's gonna hang. And the pattern calls for a fringe, which I thought I might do with acrylic yarn, but then when I was done, I was like, no, I like it just like this. The pattern says to use ping pong balls and a Sharpie, but I like to make my own. As you can see, I just freehanded black yarn in the magic circle and then white, just made a ball. Nothing to it. I did not do the antenna, and I was watching the old clips on YouTube, and it really was a pipe cleaner, their antenna, and I don't know, I just didn't, that just seemed kind of cheap to add a pipe cleaner to this, so I made this guy, yep, and then I made this one, yep, and then I made this one. 3 colors, and these are gonna look so cute. I am going to hang them on S-hooks from the top of my tent, and that is where I often put my bags and they don't get noticed. So I'm hoping that with these hanging up and then also an area with the bags that they will also get more attention. So we will find out at my market tomorrow. That Yogo's yarn that I was talking about a second ago has 3 colors, and I didn't know how it was gonna variegate when I was working on the first one. It just not, there's just a knot there in a new color, and I'm so glad I bought 2 of the same ones because I needed more than one of those steering wheels to finish this. So I broke into the second one, and then there was just enough left of the second one to do some more things. So I made some octos, and it's huge because normally I make them like this and they are maybe golf ball sized with acrylic yarn, and look at that. Don't think you can see it, but this was also the first time that I painted eyes. Camera's picking it up a little bit differently. In real life, it's more of a peach color, but this is iridescent color changing paint. This one's a green, and then these are smiley. And I think I missed a row because this one's angry. And I put a little acrylic yarn highlight around the eyes because it didn't pop against this dark color. Use of leftover yarn after the Yip Yip, that those 2 steering wheels of Bernat are almost gone. I magic knotted them together and I have this much left. I'm thinking this might be a cat after this video. It would be yarn chicken, but I've learned that with the Love Cat pattern that I use, if I leave off a couple rows, it's just an abbreviated cat and you can't really tell from the front. We'll see. That took me from like Monday to Tuesday. After I got to the second one, I was getting a little bit more adept with the blanket yarn and going a little faster. And then for the octos, I used the smallest prim hook, which I think is a 7. And I was able to get some nice tight stitches. I still prefer to use acrylic yarn. I just like the look of it. I may hate it slightly less than I used to. Am I gonna go buy more? I don't know, because I already have a disgusting amount of yarn. I do not need to go buy more, although I may do a little bonus section of this video at the end because I messed up on my no spend June. Moving on. After the octos, my intent was to make some more ducks. I'm looking at my list, like that page is open in front of me in my notebook. I was thinking easy things because so many of my small stuff sold at my last market last weekend. Hopefully you saw that video. But no. I opened up Ribbler looking for easy stuff and I came across a unicorn pattern. And I said to myself, well, you know, Abby, a lot of your medium-sized stuff sold too, like your dino and all of your snakes sold, all of the $25 to $45 items. I have very few left, so it made sense to me to start on that. This pattern is Crochet Design by D, as in ABCD, on Ribbler. It's a free pattern, and if you are crocheting right now, look up. You ready? Look at him, her, them, I don't know. Look at this. I love it so much. He sits on a desk really easily, doesn't tip over at all. He could also lay down on a bed. Just so cute. I used Michael's Loops and Threads acrylic yarn, just their regular cheap acrylic, and a 3.5 hook. So this is super tight. The pink is the Dollar Tree Just yarn. I think it's called Ballerina Pink. And the hair is Super Saver Stripes that I bought at Walmart a couple months ago, completely on an impulse buy when I was overnight doing a market and I realized I didn't have any polyfill, so I couldn't really work on anything when I was at the hotel. And then I saw this striped yarn and really wanted it, so, you know, like impulse buy. And this is the first, no, I used it to make a snake because I had seen somebody else suggest using a strand of black chenille yarn and a strand of galaxy yarn to make a little cool effect. I made a snake with it. I thought it was cool. He sold last week. I don't know if I'm gonna make another one because I don't like black yarn and I don't like chenille yarn. So I really didn't like black chenille yarn. And the two things that I made with it were my skunk, and it was so awful. Okay, I used eyelash yarn to make the back of my skunk, and that was relief. That was how much I hated that chenille yarn. But I'm starting, yeah, it does make nice, big, large, plushy things because as cute as this is, it is not. It is for sitting on a shelf. It's not huggable. It's a little bit rough feeling, but I just love the look of the tightly crocheted acrylic yarn. So a couple things about this pattern. It was free on Ribbler. Overall, I am in love with the result. I am in love, but a couple things if I make it again. First of all, you do the arms and legs first. The pattern did not tell me when to color change. And I just, maybe, I don't know, I like this, but the picture had way more rounds of the pink, but because it didn't tell me, I just was like, you know what, when I stop doing the increases, I'll color change. And that also helped me remember from doing the legs and then doing the arms to just do the pink, and then when I stop the increases, that's when I switch to white. I think if I do it again, it would be a little bit more, so a little bit more sock and mitten like. Didn't tell me when to color change. And then you do the arms and legs first. It gave instructions for the ears, the horn, and the hair, but I was getting a little impatient, so I was like, you know, let me do the body next. And also just, it's easier to keep up with all those little pieces. I mean, I keep them in my yarn bowl, but when I move back and forth from the couch to the office, I don't want to lose a limb while working on the parts. So I made the arms and legs, and then I made the body and the head, and I waited to do the ears and the horn. But while I was doing the body, first of all, it starts here and then increases, and then you finish with the opening for the head, which I thought was different. No, maybe not. I'm wrong. I was thinking for some reason that it started in the back. It doesn't. It starts, no, it's bottom up. I don't know what I'm talking about. As I was doing the body, and this is me not reading the whole pattern before I start. That is a problem that I have. Sometimes I like to be surprised. Should have read the whole pattern before I got started on this. And sometimes I don't even understand it until I actually start working on it. Excuse me. But I was almost finished with the body. And then there were instructions. So like 3 single crochets arm. 5 single crochets, arm. I'm like, well, that's interesting because it didn't tell me when to add the legs. So I sewed these on later. The arms are crocheted in, the legs are not. If this guy does not sell tomorrow, or I mean, I'm not gonna take notes tonight, but I'm gonna have to write my own mod to figure out when to crochet in the legs, because that does just make it easier. Not a ton of time, but enough. Another thing about this pattern is that the eyes were listed last, right before assembly. So I had made the horn, the ears, and the hair, and I just went ahead and attached it all. And then the last set of instructions were how to embroider the eyes. And I used 2 strands of crochet thread and a 2.25 hook to make these. It went really slow because that's a little bit difficult for me, but I got it. But I think, so there are these nostrils here with bobble stitches. I put the ears way too close to the front of the head. I should have put the eyes on first and then the ears, because I had no idea that the embroidered eyes were going to be this large. But you know what? I still love it. I love it so much. This is possibly one of the cutest things I've ever made. Also, if I do it again, because I wasn't paying attention to all the instructions, I thought this was a good color, but I don't think that this hue vibes with this rainbow yarn. I will probably pull off some of this color to make the arms, to make the socks and the mittens, but y'all, just moment of silence for this unicorn. I love it. That brings me to the last thing, because I wanted all the colors represented in the hair and in the tail. So I have this striped yarn. It's Super Saver. It's called Bright Stripes. I think I said that already. I had to pull out some yellow and orange to get to the pinks and purples. So I would alternate between like a strand of hair and a strand of tail to try to use up that color before it would variegate, so that I had a variety of colors in here. But I did have to pull out a whole bunch of yellow and orange. So I played a little game of yarn chicken and I made a duck, and I think he's so cute. I make a lot of these. They're normally very quick, but this was not, because this yarn is rougher even for Super Saver. It's pretty rough. But last thing I made this week, when I'm done with this video, I might still do a cat with the last bit of the Bernat that I have. I might not. I might just load up the car and call it. So those are my makes, guys. I did say that there would be an extra feature, and that was I had made a promise to myself to not spend any money in June other than the essentials, and to also just use this month to purge some things since I'm working at home and my work way slows down in the summer. I was doing really well on the purging for maybe the first 10 days, and then I was kind of looking around and running out of things to throw away. I did buy some nail polish to make the glitter eyes. Messed up there, but then I was like, that was only like $3. That was the cheapest nail polish you could find. And then yesterday, I just got bored. And I wanted to leave the house, and buying groceries at Walmart was not gonna scratch the itch. So I went to Goodwill, my daughter and I went. I picked up 2 t-shirts, but I rationalized that I need them for my vacation next month because I am doing laundry like every 3 days. Let's do it again. And then we were out. We went to Ollie's because I thought, you know, maybe there's some blanket yarn, which I hate, but I was gonna see if they had any. They didn't. And then I said, let's go to the Creative Reuse Center. And she was kind of like, yeah, Mom, you like it more than I do. And I was like, it's summer, we're out. Would you rather just sit at home? And so she agreed to going. And it was maybe a 20-minute, 25-minute drive. It's driving into the city, which to me is not a big deal, but it may sound out here in the suburbs like it would be a long drive. And I spent $28 at the Creative Reuse store. If there's not one near you, Creative Reuse Centers are like Goodwill for art supplies. So it is all donation based. You schedule a time to donate the things you don't want, and the store sells it for money, just like Goodwill. It's a thrift store for art supplies, and they have everything. This just strange things, like a whole barrel full of corks, and some things that just kind of look like garbage, and I don't know how people reuse them, but there are, you know, I don't do paper crafts. I don't do junk journaling, and I see other people going through that area, and it's just not very interesting to me. Spent $28. My daughter picked up 3 pins. Those were $1 each. So I spent $25. Now, some things at that center are really, really affordable, like way too cheap. Like I feel like I'm stealing them. And then some things are really expensive, and I don't think that the owner of the store or the employees are fiber artists, because this little Ziploc bag of maybe 10 safety eyes is $5, or even one pair of brown safety eyes was $3, and I didn't want to tell them because they are wonderful and I love going there. I didn't want to tell them it was overpriced. So the first 2 things that I'm going to show you, I don't know if they're overpriced or not because I don't normally buy this stuff. But I said the other week that one of the things that I want to do to kind of make my brand more legitimate, more professional, was to do better price tags. So I found this hole punch, which I thought was a good size to make price tags. This was $10. Did I pay way too much? I have absolutely no idea what this would cost. I have been tempted to buy a die cut machine, but I don't know and I'm not into paper crafts. I work in education. Paper is work. I don't want to do paper crafts. I don't want to make cards. I love that other people do them. So the die cut didn't really make sense to me. I've been looking on Facebook Marketplace, and it's just seems like a lot of money and a lot of stuff, and I really only want a price tag punch. Because I am a teacher, I do, you know, the old school die cuts for the letters to make your bulletin boards. Those are pretty fun, and I guess a Sizzix is a miniature version of that. Maybe someday, not now. I might get one to make felt circles, but you can buy felt circles. So I don't know if it's worth buying the extra equipment. But anyway, I got this one for $10, and I got this for $2. And I bought some very, very, very cheap cardstock because it's sold by the pound, and what do 4 sheets of cardstock cost? Probably just pennies. I would show you right now, but that would be awkward on camera. Maybe my next video, I will shoot some video before the market, and hopefully I will have attached some of these by then. If I don't do it tonight, I might do it during that hour and a half setup time because it's like I hardly have anything anyway because my last market was something like 40 items that I sold. I don't have a lot. But this is the fun part. $25 minus this, which was 10, so that takes it down to 15. This was 2, so now I'm down to 13. I know some of y'all don't like it, and I know some of y'all love it. I enjoy peaches and cream. Is it Lily? Yeah, Lily peaches and cream. And they had a whole bunch of it. So for $13. 1, 2, 3. This is called Holiday Stripes, but I made a bag with this before. It gives watermelon. I think it's very summery. 4, 5. Just some nice pastel stripes. 6. Now it takes just under 2 of these to make a appropriate sized market bag, because if you do make them too big, it just kind of becomes tubular. I mean, I guess I could make the bottom a little wider, but I use the Mama in a Stitch pattern, and I kind of know when to stop and make the handles. 1, 2, that was 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. These are $1 each. And I can use 1.5 of these to make a market bag that I just crochet market bags when the market is slow, because I don't have to wear my glasses, I don't have to think, I don't have to count. I can just stand there and look busy and whip up some market bags. I never do it at home. That's some big profit, guys. And like I said, I need maybe 1.5 of these to make a bag. I will sometime these I would do. I would use the solid to do the base, and then I do the sides with a stripe, and then depending on the yarn chicken that I'm playing, I might move back to the solid for the handles, but I get creative with these. I mix up the solids and the variegated to make a full bag because I don't buy these at Walmart. I don't buy them new. I have bought the Dollar Tree just cotton, didn't like it. It splits really easily. But that was my little bonus feature of this video. If you're still watching, thank you so much. I just realized I did not give any pattern credit to the things that I made real quick. The Yip Yips are Carissa Knits. I'm looking away from the camera because I'm looking at my notes. The Octos are the Sweet Softies pattern I use all the time. The Unicorn, I think I did mention that, Crochet Designs by D. And the Duck is, it's a cute name. It's Other Brother Daryl. If you were around in the 80s, you know the reference. And the blogger is called Hookers Don't Bite. I will put the links down in the description. Thank you again. If you enjoy this content, please leave a comment. Please leave a comment about what I should make next week. I do a market almost every weekend, and I am thinking about signing up for another one mid-July that is a different location of the same brewery where I just killed it last week and made almost $600, which for me, that's amazing. My goal tomorrow is 100 because this is a small market, but it is free to set up. But it is moving from Sunday to Saturday, and it's moving to later in the day. So the organizers are seeing if that helps bring foot traffic. But I will let you know. I will make another video after, I will do a market recap after 8 o'clock on Saturday because that's when it ends. And until then, have a good one. See you later. Bye.